Hello 404 Boxing, shout out to the LDBC, the Lions Den Boxing community. A big shout out to Marlowe's Corner and Trey X, whole block fam. Place to be on fight night. It's to the best blow-by-blow commentary on YouTube, as well as there's always a great panel on the show as well. And great chats, great comment section. A lot of interaction in that chat. So anyway, what I want to talk about this morning, as I'm going through this construction area and traffic's going about 10 miles an hour, and I'm probably gonna be 20 minutes late to work. Anyway, and I got a different headset on today, so hopefully this comes through clear and loud enough. If not, I'll be trying something else for future videos. I actually ordered a mic. I think it should be delivered soon, but I'm just gonna run it with this headset today. But anyway, so if there's any volume issues, I do apologize in advance. So what I want to talk about is Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence. Of course, we all know that right now it's being kicked around that Danny Garcia and Spence may be fighting the first part of next year. We also know that Spence and Porter both have expressed interest in having a rematch, but we also know that the fans have been clamoring for Terrence Crawford versus Errol Spence for over a year now. Ever since Terrence Crawford arrived at 147. So I'm not gonna downplay that fight. I know some other guys have said that they're not even gonna talk about it, and Bud this and Bud that, and that is what it is. I mean, it's still relevant to me, so I'm gonna talk about it. Well, what I have to say about it is I have noticed that some of the conversation has turned, and Derrick James kind of was one of the first one. Well, I can say was the first one, but Derrick James himself has actually pushed this out as well, and talking about well, Bud now has 2 belts. And if he fights Pacquiao, he'll have a 3rd belt, basically saying, that Bud's doing all the heavy lifting, so he'll be the one going around getting all the straps. And then Bud will come, Errol will be the one doing all the heavy lifting. I don't know if I just said Bud, but anyway, Errol will be the one going around getting all the straps. And then Bud comes in with just that WBO belt, and basically saying that there's no way that the fight's gonna be 50-50, and always the other. Well, I look at it like this. First of all, I don't think a trainer needs to be talking about percentages and purse splits and stuff like that. Train your fighter. Even if he's his manager, I feel like even if he was his manager, what I'm saying, I would feel like that's a conversation to be had down the line. Right now, let's see what the people who are gonna bring the money for the fight actually have to say about it, as far as, and I don't even mean say in public, I mean just let's wait and see how that develops before we start talking about who can't get what. I don't even like the fighters talking like that, you know what I'm saying? Because honestly, it takes away from the momentum of even trying to make the fight before it ever even gets started. Now, that said, even if Al Heyman himself came out and said this, I would still feel like, okay, it's a little, you guys need to be trying to work it out, and then, maybe come out and say that later. But to say that, hey, this is what they came with, because at the end of the day, when it comes to negotiations, even if you're trying to get a job, you're supposed to ask for more than what you want, or at least the most that you want, and then be like, well, I'm willing to negotiate my way down to X, or whatever the case may be. With all that being said, I remember the same line being pushed with Anthony Joshua. That was one of the things that the AJ protectors and even Eddie Hearn and Joshua himself would say, well, AJ done went around collecting all the belts, and while Wilder's done nothing. You know, like basically like, you know, AJ went around beating all the guys that had straps and became a 3 sanctioning body, you know, a unified champion with 3 sanctioning body, while all Wilder's done is held on to the WBC. And I hated hearing that, you know what I'm saying? Because the reality was that Wilder tried to fight some of those same guys and they just wasn't happening, you know what I'm saying? And in this case, I've heard Bud Crawford saying he wants the Pacquiao fight. You know, I heard Bud Crawford saying he wanted Terrence Crawford. Terrence Crawford. Saying he wanted Keith Thurman when Keith Thurman had a belt. And he's been saying he wants Errol Spence since Errol Spence has had 1 belt. So, you know, and at the time, Thurman actually had 2 belts. So, and I'm trying to think who the other champion was. Yeah, Thurman had 2, and then Spence had a belt, and then Bud had 1. And then eventually Thurman lost one of his belts, and Porter and Danny fought for it. So, you know, and I will say that I haven't heard him saying he want to fight Sean Porter, but, you know, that's not, you know what I'm saying? I've heard both guys say some weird things about that, but now it's like Porter's changed his stance on it, which I'm glad he has. But anyway, my point is, as far as Bud only bringing 1 belt to the table, understood, but at the same time, it's like, you know, if one side is pushing that line at what the other side can't get before negotiations ever even take off, you already stalling negotiations. And like I said, that definitely doesn't need to come from a trainer. And I know Terrence Crawford's trainer, Bomac. I think he doubles as his manager, but I think Bomac does a lot of, you know, he does a bit too much talking about what they want in that fight in terms of monetary, you know what I'm saying, compensation as well. You know, I just feel like that's a conversation that's a little premature, and we've learned that that's a conversation that doesn't need to be had with the public well before these fights or even close to coming to fruition. You know, I mean, it very well could be the case that, you know, Spence's side, and I mean, I'm talking about the power brokers, actually have in their head that, hey, the best we're giving this guy is 25%. That very well could be the case, but that's something that needs to conversation that needs to be had behind the scenes with the power players, you know, power brokers in the situation. That doesn't need to be like the first line that comes out to the public after each fighter accomplishes something. You know, so Spence goes out and captures another belt, then it doesn't need to come out like right away. Oh no, now you can't get such, you know. So it's like, no, you know, I mean, the reality is that all of that stuff, to me, those conversations are non-starters. You know, and they make it hard to even get the ball rolling in the right direction. And at the end of the day, the fans are the consumer, and we're the one demanding these fights. And like I said, I know right now that, you know, a lot of the focus is want to get that rematch between Spence and Porter, and I'm not mad at that rematch. You know, I'm not mad at that rematch at one bit. You know, but I can tell you this, that, you know, if the precedent is going to be set that every time there's a really close fight or a really action-packed fight that there's going to be rematches, you know, that's all well and fine, but they don't need to hold up progress in a division. You know, if that's going to hold up undisputed, then hey, I'm not going to be mad at it, because it could be another epic fight. And at the end of the day, you know, these guys still, the winner of that fight still could go on and fight Bud Crawford or Manny Pacquiao or whoever has whatever titles at that time, you know, when all these other fights play out. So in essence, it's only delaying undisputed for one fight. So I can't be mad at that. And when you get treated to a fight like what we were treated to, how can you not anticipate there being another rematch? I mean, a rematch of that fight. You know, because at the end of the day, if Terrence Crawford was about to retire and he was like, I only got one more fight in me, I want Errol Spence Jr., I want to go out on top, I want to go out like Andre Ward and prove that I'm the best in the division, or whatever the case may be. And and it's kind of a similar situation, because you'll still have Pacquiao out there. And it's kind of like there was Donnie Stevenson still out there at light heavyweight. But even if that was the case, what Bud Crawford was trying to do, I still, you know, at that point, I would probably be like, okay, nothing needs to get in the way of this fight. This guy's on the fight one more time. Let's see this fight. But I would have a different attitude about it. But, and at the end of the day, that would still be Bud's choice to only fight one more time. So in a way, a lot of people will probably view that as ducking. So either way, this fight needs to happen. I just don't want, I don't think people realize that some of the same people who were like combating these AJ protectors left and right about the arguments that they were making with them don't deserve conversations, talking about what a fighter doesn't deserve. They're on the other side having the same conversation on behalf of Errol Spence Jr., saying what Terrence Crawford doesn't deserve. And that's not our place as fight fans. You know, that's for the promoters, the advisors, managers, whatever. That's for those people to handle behind the scenes. Our job is to demand that the best fight the best, support these fighters, support these events. You know what I'm saying? Big up the sport, not take a crap on the sport every time something doesn't go the way we want it to go. And just stay loyal to the sport and hope that it's reciprocated when we ask for certain fights, that the sport's loyal to us. You know? And that's my position on it. That's my stance on it. You know, there's a lot of, like I said, there's a lot of hypocrisy and people talking out both sides of their mouth. And I'm not trying to crap on anybody, you know what I'm saying, anybody in particular or anybody at all. I'm just saying that this is what's being pushed. And we can't have it both ways. When it's being done to Deontay Wilder and we're standing up for him, standing up firm and saying, oh, that's silly, you know, and basically saying that that's not our place. We're fight fans, we're not promoters, we're not advisors, whatever. Then we can't push the opposite line when it's one of the fighters that we support. You know what I'm saying? That we support heavy. I mean, I'm here to tell you, I'm a big Errol Spence supporter. I'm a big Bud Crawford supporter. Do I think Crawford made some decisions that put him in the position that he's in now and where he's on the outside looking in? Of course. Do I think anybody else is to blame for that other than Bud Crawford? No, I don't. I mean, at the end of the day, he had a choice to make. He made his choice, and it put him in a situation that's not beneficial to the progression of his career at 147. And that's something that he has to deal with. But, you know, I'm not going to go on and on about it because I can talk about this subject for hours. I mean, but that's all I got to say on it. For now, this is D-Lo 404 Boxing. Once again, big shout out to the LDBC. Please like, share, comment, and subscribe. I'm out. Peace.